What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. We're going to get into TNA Impact from January the 16th, 2025. We are going to go over the predictions for this Sunday's Genesis, the first pay-per-view of the new year for TNA. And we are going to talk about the multi-year partnership between TNA and WWE. So, we kicked the show off with the first match of the night, that being Leon Slater defeating Trent Seven. So, Trent Seven is gone from TNA. I don't know where he's going to go. He might go back to WWE, maybe. I don't know. Don't really care. So, post-match, Frankie Kazarian showed up. He tried to assault Leon Slater, but he saw it coming. And apparently, they're going to have a match, I would assume, probably on the pre-show of Genesis. So, that's fine there. Match was okay. I think TNA is probably going to slowly but surely push Leon Slater. I do like Leon Slater. I think he's like in his 20s. I want to say early 20s. I want to say between like 22 and 24. So he's probably still in his early 20s. But it's fine. Match was fine. Moving on. So we get a video package of Joe Hendry. So Joe Hendry talks about his love for professional wrestling, the ups and downs in his career. Joe Hendry talks about always getting back up after getting knocked down. However, he knows he doesn't have an unlimited number of tries. Joe Hendry knows that he has to succeed in the second chance after losing at Bound for Glory. Trust him. At the end of Genesis, everyone will be chanting, "We believe." This was great. Excellent stuff here. Excellent. Moving on. So, George Iceman, the personal concierge of Ash and Heather by Elegance, he comes out. So, he brings out Ash and Heather by Elegance. So, he spared no expense on the celebration. So, the Elegances have been shining so bright, but they'll shine even brighter with some gold. Then we see life-size cutouts of the duo, and they're wearing the tag titles, which is funny. Really good shit there. So, Ash by Elegance, she gets on the mic and says she feels honored to be one of the new TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions. She wants to thank the little people, her hair, her makeup, and nail people. She also thanks her doctors for the Botox and veneers. She thanks her favorite barista. Lastly, Ash thanks the personal concierge. And fake tears about to shed. So Dana Brooke, Heather can't believe all of this. She hadn't been in TNA for a whole year yet. Thanks to Ash and the Elegance brand, she's one half of the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. So Spitfire, they come out. So Danny and Luna, she can't believe that the Elegances are celebrating. So Jody Threat says that the Elegances are just Barbies that can't keep up with the real wrestlers. There's no chance that Spitfire loses at Genesis. And then Ash says that Spitfire belongs on the clearance rack and doesn't deserve the title. So then a fight breaks out, and Spitfire then lays waste to the Elegances. Good shit here. I do like this. This is okay for the most part. I do hope that Heather and Ash by Elegance, that they do win the Knockouts tag titles. It makes the most sense. I think Jody Threat will be better off in somewhere like an AEW. And I think Danny Luna would be better off being in the singles division. I would love to see what she could do. Maybe give her a shot at the Knockouts World title. I think her versus Masha Slamovich would kick ass. So, there's that. But we'll have to wait and see how things play out. Moving on. So, this leads us into Gia Miller. She had a backstage interview with Sami Callihan and PCO. Oh my God. So, PCO, he's just speaking monster language bullshit. Sami Callihan translation says they're taking the greatest tag team in wrestling history. There's going to be chaos and unpredictability. And Sami and PCO are both going to Genesis. And Sami says that PCO was very professional during this interview. I don't give a single shit about this. This is the problem with TNA. It's their roster. This is one of the many issues that I have with TNA. One of the main gripes, and that is their roster. Get rid of PCO. Get rid of Sami Callihan. Get rid of Trent Seven, Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards. Just get rid of guys and girls that don't make you money. Like, seriously. Moving on. So, Steve Maclin and Eric Young, they defeat First Class, which is AJ Francis and Casey Navarro. Fuck this. I don't give a single shit about this. I really don't. None at all. Moving on. So, we see Masha Slamovich's appearance on NXT. That's shown, so that's great. So, we didn't go into a split screen interview with Rosemary and Masha Slamovich. So, they're having like their confessional, which is really cool. So, they talk about their sins. Rosemary says it's been a long time, 7 years, since she's held the TNA Knockouts World Championship. And she'll do anything to get it back. Everything has been given to Masha Slamovich, and it used to belong to her. Masha says that Rosemary only took things away from herself. Rosemary wants Masha to know that she's stepping into the Clockwork Orange House of Fun with the most dangerous knockout in TNA history. Masha says that she knows what she's getting into, and they're either going to touch the sky or drag Rosemary to hell with her. So I do like that. Really good shit there. This is one of the matches that I am excited for. So we all know Masha's going to retain. Like that's just common sense. Moving right along. So we see footage from a wrestling company that took out. It was like an indie show, basically. The Northern Armory, they took out Mike Santana. So, Josh Alexander, I think this happened over the weekend or whatever. I don't fucking know. So, Josh Alexander comes out along with the rest of the Northern Armory. He says that he's got some unfortunate news. Mike Santana is hurt, and he's not going to be able to wrestle at Genesis. And Josh Alexander feels bad. So Mike Santana comes out. He comes through the crowd. Pause. He knows that my bad. He knows that Josh doesn't. My bad. Mike Santana doesn't believe that Josh Alexander truly knows him. If Josh Alexander knew him, he'd know as long as that Santana is breathing and he's got blood pumping through his veins, he won't quit. He went through the entire system and the Northern Armory by himself because he didn't quit. And then he said it's going to be an I Quit match. Okay, that's fine. Josh Alexander thinks that Mike Santana is too proud. It'll take a miracle to make Josh Alexander say, I quit. Believe Josh Alexander. He's going to teach Mike Santana a lesson and make him realize that his place is at the bottom of the card. Mike Santana is proud of himself for getting Josh Alexander flustered. And when he beats Josh Alexander, Mike Santana will be the new standard of TNA. Really good shit there. The promo was kind of long, but it makes sense. It seems like they are going to probably be pushing Mike Santana. This makes me think that Josh's contract is probably going to be up in early February. So there's that. And there's still like a possibility that he could still show up at Vengeance Day on February 15th. So there's a possibility that could happen. But I'm pretty sure Mike Santana is more likely going to go over, and it would make the most sense. And then Josh could still work a couple more tapings, and then he'll be on his way to WWE. Because I doubt he's going to go to AEW. Moving on, Jake Something defeats Laredo Kid. He wins via into the void. No, my bad. No, he doesn't. He actually wins via the Nothing Bomb, which the Something Bomb, which is like a Batista power bomb. Nice, so really good shit there. So Laredo Kid, in my opinion, would be better suited in NXT. So hopefully he can go to NXT because TNA doesn't give a single fuck about this guy, and Laredo Kid is actually pretty good. Moving on, so we get a really good lengthy vignette / video package for Ace Austin. So, Ace Austin talks about how great it was to team with Chris Bay. He loved being on the same page as his partner, and it was special. They worked well together because they came together and worked towards a common goal. Ace Austin talks about how Bound for Glory was an amazing moment. However, the next day, Chris Bay got injured, and things were no longer about dreams, championships, or wrestling. It was all about Chris Bay. Life has become more important than Ace Austin's career. Ace Austin talks about managing his time lately between wrestling, working out, and hanging out with Chris Bay. He's been lucky to have such a great career so far. Ace Austin is very thankful. Looking at 2025, he knows it has to be all about the X division. It's how he and Chris Bay both got started in TNA. The X division is the backbone of TNA. And Ace Austin grew up idolizing a lot of X division wrestlers, mainly Jeff Hardy. That's who got him in the business. Ace Austin talks about how Moose, as the X division champion, is just wrong. He doesn't like how Moose bullies people. Moose isn't the X division, and at Genesis, Ace Austin is going to teach Moose what the X division is all about. Okay, Ace Austin has got to fucking win. He's got to win. This was a really, really good vignette / video package. I love this. This is about a good 3 to 5 minutes long. This was almost 5 minutes. I was like, damn, this is pretty long, but this is good. This is good. Really good stuff. Main event of the evening, wrestling-wise, it was Sami Callihan and PCO. They were defeated by the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. So before the match took place, the lights went out, and we saw a 23 video teaser. So it says the 23 is just a number. This is interesting. I would assume this might be maybe in this year. So it's probably going to be them showing up maybe. I don't know. But they've been doing this for a number of weeks, the number 23. Some people think it's Baron Corbin. I don't think it's Baron Corbin. I don't. Although I do hope that he does show up at Genesis. I do hope we get a couple of surprises for Genesis. So there's that. The Hardys win via the Swanton Bomb. Moving on. So Tom Hannafin, he says that Jordynne Grace and Tessa Blanchard at Genesis. It's been announced, but Tessa hadn't signed the contract yet. So Jordynne Grace comes to the commentary to the commentary table. She leaves the contract on the table for Tessa Blanchard so that she can sign it, and she knows where to find Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace says she wouldn't be surprised if Tessa Blanchard doesn't appear at Genesis. It wouldn't be the first time, so I do like that. Good shit. Moving on. So the closing segment of the evening, which was Joe Hendry and Nic Nemeth coming face to face for the final time. So Joe Hendry wants to talk first. He says they face each other a lot and have said everything that has needed. My bad. Joe Hendry wants to talk first. He says that they face each other a lot and have said everything that has been needed to be said, except for one thing. Joe Hendry says he has to win this. Joe Hendry says to Nic Nemeth that Joe Hendry's new era... my bad. So Joe Hendry says that a new era starts at Genesis with him lifting the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Nic Nemeth says that he knows what the championship means to Joe Hendry. He knows that everyone believes in Joe Hendry. He knows what the TNA World title means to Joe Hendry, the fans, and everyone in the back. He knows what it means to be champion. It's not about social media, music, or tweeting. It's about living as champion every day, the busy schedule, and everyone hunting for the title. Nic Nemeth then shows us a clip of Bound for Glory during his match with Joe Hendry. So it shows the moment where JBL was talking to Joe Hendry outside the ring, and then he clotheslined Joe Hendry, and he also clotheslined Nic Nemeth. Nic Nemeth says anything that happened in the moment was all JBL. Nic Nemeth had nothing to do with it. All Nic Nemeth knows is that his brother got hit. Nic Nemeth didn't see JBL, and things would have been a lot different if he did. So Joe Hendry wants to know something that doesn't make sense to him before he can ask a question. So Ryan Nemeth, Nic Nemeth's brother, who sucks as a wrestler, he's total shit. So he reminds Nic Nemeth that Joe Hendry is not Nick's friend, and Joe Hendry doesn't care about anyone but himself. Joe Hendry says he's wasted enough time on Ryan Nemeth. Ryan wants to say it to his face, so he gets into the ring. Nic Nemeth tries to get in between them, but he shoved to the side. So Joe Hendry is about to do the standing ovation, but Nic Nemeth super kicks Joe Hendry. So Joe Hendry, he goes down, and the Nemeth brothers, they leave, and then Ryan is talking to Nick, and he's giving him some advice, and that was it. So Tessa Blanchard, she came to the commentary table. She signed the contract, and her and Jordynne Grace had a good little brawl, and then Jordynne Grace beat the shit out of Tessa Blanchard. She hit the Juggernaut Driver, and then she threw Tessa Blanchard out the ring, and then she stared at her, and that was it. So really good stuff there. I do like this. This is another match that I'm excited for. There's like 3 or 4 matches on the card that I'm excited for. So this is a pretty okay episode for the most part of TNA. All right. Let's get into the predictions for Genesis. It's 9 matches on the card. So, Josh Alexander versus Mike Santana. I Quit match. Josh Alexander is leaving, so Mike Santana needs to win this. Moving on. Spitfire versus Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. The Elegance girls, they need to win this shit. They have to win. I like Spitfire, they're okay, but again, Jody Threat's better off in AEW, And Daniel Luna is better off being a singles star in the Knockouts division. Moving on. Ace Austin versus Moose for the X Division Championship. Ace Austin has to win this shit. Fuck Moose. Moose fucking sucks. Moving on. Leon Slater versus Frankie Kazarian. Leon Slater, because it seems like they're going to push him more than likely. All right. Next. Steve Maclin and Eric Young versus The System, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. I don't care about anybody involved in this match. Fuck this match. I'm going to go with Eric Young and Steve Maclin winning. Who gives a shit? Moving on, a match that I'm very excited about. That's the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy versus the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. I'm going to go with the Rascals winning. It makes sense. The Hardys need to be in an actual feud. I know they feuded with the System, but it would make sense for the Hardys to lose, and maybe they could go to WWE, mainly NXT, as a crossover. I think that would be great, and maybe they take the NXT Tag Team Championships off of Fraxium. That would be kick-ass. I don't know. We have to wait and see. Moving on. Masha Slamovich versus Rosemary Clockwork Orange House of Fun for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Masha is going to win, but I do think that Cora Jade will get involved from NXT, as well as I think Wendy Chu is probably going to show up too, and she might be the one to cost Rosemary from NXT. So I think that would be great right there. So I'm going to go with that happening. Moving on, Jordynne Grace versus Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard is going to win. We all know Jordynne Grace is going to be heading to NXT, and she will show up in the Royal Rumble again. So there's that. I hope that they do an angle as to where Tessa Blanchard, completely beats the shit out of Jordynne Grace, and that's when she sends her packing to NXT. Main event of the evening, Nic Nemeth versus Joe Hendry for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Joe Hendry has to win. Joe Hendry has to win. If TNA does not pull the trigger on this, they have royally fucked up. Joe Hendry needs to win this shit. He should have won it Bound for Glory. I can kind of see why they didn't, but they need to go ahead and pull the trigger. Even if Joe Hendry says, hey, look, I'm out come a Rebellion or even Slammiversary. Let this guy be champion so that way he can put TNA on his back. Again, they have to do it. They need to do it. So those are the predictions. Now, let's get into the partnership between WWE and TNA. And this is great. Really good stuff here. So, basically, it's a multi-year deal. It's between NXT and TNA. So it's only just TNA and NXT superstars, which is great. Nobody from the main roster. And basically, this historic relationship demonstrates that the collaboration and competition do not have to be mutually exclusive. This is coming from Aria Schinner, Senior Vice President of Content and Distribution for TNA Wrestling and Anthem Sports. He says, quote, "Our partnership allows the TNA wrestling brand and its incredible athletes to reach a significantly wider audience while giving WWE and NXT stars an opportunity to cross the line and gain valuable experience as they join forces with one of the most talented rosters in professional wrestling today. The response to our collaboration over the past year has been tremendous, and both companies have benefited, but the fans have reaped the greatest rewards from this talent crossover and working relationship." Shawn Michaels says, "We look forward to growing and evolving our partnership with TNA Wrestling and its outstanding group of athletes by creating new opportunities to further the development of our talent and to elevate the viewer experience at home." And this is coming from Shawn Michaels. And then they talked about all the things that they did last year. This is great. This is excellent. I love this. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is a match made in heaven. This really is a match made in heaven. Why? Because both NXT and TNA, they are kind of similar to where they have intimate audiences. So most NXT shows are basically always in Orlando in the PC. They only go out on the road at best every 2 to 3 months. And then they also do TV specials. TNA basically does the same thing, but it's just with tapings. And this year, it seems like they're trying to go live more. We know it's expensive for TNA to go live because they don't have as big a budget as WWE and AEW, but it is what it is. But I do think that TNA could go live on a weekly basis if they were to film somewhere in Florida, maybe either Universal Studios or something like that, or maybe even Full Sail. I think that would be great if they could do that. They could do that all the time and then just go on the road for your main 4 TNA pay-per-views: Genesis, Bound for Glory, Slammiversary, and Rebellion. So those are like their big 4. But this is great. This is excellent. This is really excellent. Excellent news. Good shit. So what did you guys think of TNA? And what are your predictions for Genesis? And what do you think about the TNA WWE multi-year partnership? What do you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.